A, and that's your final answer?
So let's get right with it. What's in the news this week? Well, you've got to talk about that ludicrous mess known as the stimulus bill. That's the short version for it. But I call it the rape of the American taxpayer con job. It's a very sad production. Perhaps its single worst feature is $350 billion to bail out states that are poorly run. And that includes New York, California, and Illinois. And I find it interesting that the rest of the states have been unable to block this mess to go to their own Democrat representatives in Congress and to say, don't vote for this trash. Do not do this. Folks, a lot of people refer to bills in the United States Congress that have a lot of extra nonsense in them as pork. Folks, this is not just pork. This is the whole pig farm. And if you've ever been to a pig farm, you know that pig farms stink. There's not much they can do about it. And this bill stinks like multiple pig farms, quite bluntly. A very, very poor bill. And disturbing to me as a business person and a pro-capitalist business person is the stock market has skyrocketed because they're giving money away and it's not being paid for today. Taxes have not skyrocketed yet, but I predict that this so-called stimulus bill will be a bigger failure than the stimulus bill or the so-called stimulus bill under Obama that was such a disaster that produced virtually no movement in the economy when it was put into effect early in the Obama administration. Let's talk about a couple other pieces to it. One of them is the increase in Obamacare funding. I mean, let's be blunt about it. Obamacare is a total fraud. It's just simply a con job, and it was never successful, and it cannot be made more successful by throwing more money into the dump. The way to fix this problem is to produce more doctors, to produce more nurses, to increase the efficiency of healthcare, none of which is done by Obamacare. And we need to move forward and to do something correct and not just keep dumping money that is the product of hard-earned taxpayer dollars. And it's quite unfortunate. Some of the other things that are happening in this bill is we're going to give more people more money to stay home than they would make working. I'm sorry, folks, that's not to me how we help people back into the economy. And again, this is a lesson that we learned from the Obama non-recovery from '08 to 16, because what happens is if you just throw a few bucks at people occasionally, it doesn't work. And the infamous cliche, you give somebody a fish, they eat for a day. You teach somebody to fish, they eat for a lifetime. Same theory here. We need people back in work, making tax dollars to pay for our economy, to pay for our schools, to pay for our health care, not to throw a few bucks here and there, and especially not to dump so much of it in garbage pails known as California and New York. Part of this bill, you think I'm exaggerating? How about they're going to give money to people in prison? They're going to give money to illegal aliens. What about taking care of the taxpayers who are on hard times right now? That to me is what a stimulus bill should be about, not what's happening here. So I'm very disturbed about that, but that's in the news this week.